Alright guys, so this week for the BSL Week 2 draft battle, we have a slightly different format. This battle is already pre-recorded and I'll be kind of providing a analysis and recap for you guys. But without further ado, we're hopping straight into the video right now. My opponent for week 2 was Mikeyy and the Seattle Starlies. He also has a YouTube channel where he uploaded his side of this draft battle. So you'll be able to find that link down in the description. And like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this format of recording my videos and adding the voice to them later on. But I'm gonna do my best to kind of explain why I made the decisions that I made and maybe give more insight with the additional hindsight into what the thought process is into winning a draft battle and maybe even any Pokemon battle for that sake. So going into this battle, Mikeyy and the Seattle Starlies had just changed their Gigantamax, and if you look over on the side, I actually did make one mistake in my recording of leaving their Gigantamax on here, but you're about to see the team preview where you will find that Mikeyy chooses to not bring his Gigantamax. Now for my team, I prepared with a friend of mine. You may know Arts. He often works with me on my channel, and link to his channel as well as the other coaches will be down in the description below. So you see that I have a White Herb Gigantamax Blastoise. That's supposed to be like the finisher, the coup de grace of this battle. I bring Aegislash with Totemize because of the speed tiers I can get against some of his Pokemon. I bring Intimidate Choice Band on my Crocodile, so we kind of get a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. It definitely hits like a truck. Sableye is supposed to cause some matchup problems. Alolan Marowak is defensive but still hits very hard because of its thick club. And of course the Tangrowth is Regenerator and Assault Vest for a lot of sustain on this week's team. Looking at my opponent's team at this point in the battle, I see a lot of low speed Mons. Obviously not all of them, but with the Bronzong and the Dusclops in particular, I'm wondering, is my opponent going to try to set up Trick Room? And a few of my plays made throughout the course of this battle, I guess you would say, are made with respect to that possibility that my opponent could set up a Trick Room and counteract some of my high speed strategies, for example on my Aegislash. So I lead off with Alolan Marowak because I kind of figure if he is going to go the Trick Room route against Bronzong or Dusclops, this would be a pretty good lead. He goes with his Malamar, and I think to myself at first, I like this matchup. Unsure what his set will be. I know that the most common set is Contrary with like Superpower, and you can't go for that move against Marowak. So I go for a Will-O-Wisp, which unfortunately misses. That would have really done a lot to change the way that he had to play this Malamar later on in the battle. But it is what it is. He is using Foul Play for his main source of damage at that point, so it wouldn't have reduced the damage on the next attack. And this switch, I guess, probably still would have had to happen. I wanted to save this Alolan Marowak for longer. Now I bring in the Sableye in case he goes for the setup, predicting the switch. In case he goes for the Superpower, it will still miss, or it still won't affect, and then I could possibly try to priority burn again. But since he switches, I kind of predict the parting shot into Togekiss is going to come because my Sableye doesn't really have any reason to fear the Silvally, even if it brought knockoff or something of that sort. Like the way I set my EVs and the things I seen in the damage calculator let me know that was a pretty safe call of mine. However, if he were to go out to Togekiss, especially with Parting Shot, which is exactly what he ended up doing, then I would need this extra special defense boost to be able to really do anything with this Togekiss. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I had a good feeling that if he would have went for a Dazzling Gleam here, then that would mean that his Togekiss is Choice Scarf. When I see the Nasty Plot, I know that it may be a little too much for Sableye to deal with, but that I have a backup plan if things don't go my way. So I knew I would live one, but I was unsure how long, I could recover these hits off with me at +1 and him at -1. I could have switched into my Steel type, but honestly with the boost that he had, I just felt like it was way too risky, and that if anything was going to, if I was going to lose a Pokemon here because I allowed him to set up 2 Nasty Plots like I did right here, if it was going to be anything, then I would like it to be Sableye that goes down. Now, because he went for the second Nasty Plot, I could have tried to recover again, but it's fairly easy to see that Recover or Snarl wouldn't allow me to live a hit. So I just go for the Will-O-Wisp, because I mean, even one burn turn is more damage than I probably would have done. Unfortunately, I miss again, which really has me, you could say, questioning my my line of thought coming into this move, because I'm currently at 0 for 2. Both of the times I clicked a move that had a potential to hit or a potential to miss, it did. But I know if he's not Scarf that my Crocodile is faster, and if only I land this Stone Edge, I'll be able to get rid of this big threat. So with that said, unless he had some kind of really unpredictable defensive investment that was specifically calculated to live a Choice Banded Crocodile's Stone Edge, which I don't know if that's even a real calc. I don't even know if that's possible, but chances are that crit wasn't a factor in that Pokemon fainting. The only thing I can say is I don't know my opponent's set, but that was basically the plan, that if things got out of hand with Togekiss having a Nasty Plot set, that Pokemon could come in and do work. Now, I'm locked in the Stone Edge, so this thing should be like the bulkiest of the bulky as far as what his team can do to wall hits, and so I'm not going to stay in and just try to chip away at it. I go to my Marowak, and I think about it for a second. I figure he'll probably switch here if he doesn't have the Trick Room. It's either going to be Switch or a Trick Room in my head, so I go for the Stealth Rocks. He ends up going for a Shadow Sneak, which, I built my Marowak fully defensive, so it's just like a little bit of chip damage. It's really not a whole lot to worry about. Then he does make the switch when he sees the way that I'm built. I assume that it was the lack of damage on that you see that there's not much you can do. And it is at that point as well that I start to wonder, does he not have the Trick Room? Does he think that my Alolan Marowak is like min speed? you know, he had +1 priority on his last attack, so I'm wondering what kind of information I've already revealed throughout the battle, and I'm wondering if he's revealing information about himself right now. But, you know, we go for the Poltergeist on the switch, and it nearly KOs the Malamar, but unfortunately it doesn't pick it up. And we kind of knew that this was going to happen. Maybe he would make a cautious switch and try to get the Malamar out of danger, but chances are it was going to go first with the foul play and I wouldn't be able to live it. So we just kind of did the same as with the Sableye and accepted the what he went for, just accepted the trade, because now we can come back in and almost with any hit, obviously, we can revenge kill this. I think about even threatening him to go for my Gigantamax and just going for the outright sweep of his team. But if I were to lose my Blastoise, that would put me in a much worse position than if I were to lose any other Pokemon. So I decided to go for Tangrowth, which is a bulky Pokemon that I know can take hits, deliver a knockoff, and not give him many options moving forward. Right now, I'm just trying to even the score. We're both down 2 Pokemon apiece, and with the damage that he did on that attack, it's safe to say that I can basically just switch Togekiss in and out still and recover off, you know, his hit. You know, I looking at the score as it stands at this turn, though, I had made note to myself that he had backed 2 of my Pokemon into corners, and I may have been able to pick up the revenge kills afterwards, but he kind of still had a slight initiative and kind of had the slight advantage as far as controlling the pace of the game. So it really wasn't time to start making hard switches with Togekiss or with Tangrowth yet. There's no more Togekiss to fear coming in, and like even being Assault Vest with the 60% chance to flinch. Togekiss was one of the main things that I had feared coming in on this Pokemon, knowing that it's not there anymore. I play around a little bit more. He goes for Iron Defense, but the Rocky Helmet damage takes me under 66% of my health, so I'm gonna switch out for the sake of Regenerator and predicting this Body Press coming, which I did predict, and I'm able to take advantage of the set that he brings, because it may be a little redundant in the typing of my team, but I did draft 3 Ghost types, and I did bring all 3 of my Ghost types to this battle. Maybe a fact that I only have 1 of them left at this point, but it gives me a free turn to allow my Aegislash to set up. It is now faster than anything on his team except for if the Zoroark is Choice Scarf. But if the Zoroark is Choice Scarf, that kind of limits some of the other offensive options that it would be able to do to me. Also, you know, he was setting up Iron Defense, and my Aegislash is a special variant. So now I have a +2 speed, 140 base special attack, Aegislash dealing out some damage to this Zoroark, and the Stealth Rock's adding on chip as well. For those who may wonder why I would take the play when I have the initiative to go King Shield, even though chances are the Zoroark isn't physical, the reason is because if somehow the Zoroark does outspeed me, or maybe just something that I'm not predicting happens. If he switched on the King Shield and brought in something with priority or choice scarf, it could be anything else. That way, if I had to take a hit being slower, I would take it with 140 base defenses and then switch my stats back only to attack, and I'd have the option to King Shield again. So, with that said, I take down the Zoroark here and get a slight lead. I have a +2 speed Aegislash, I have a Tangrowth, and I have a Crocodile with Intimidate. So, at this point in the game, I would have to play very, well, badly to lose my advantage. I would have to let him gain a lot of ground when I have a lot of bulk and sustain in my favor. So I decided to go back for the King Shield again because it could be a special trick up his sleeve with the Sobble. It's a very unpredictable and hard to prepare for Pokemon. I knew that if I did take this parting shot, I would have to switch out on my boosts eventually, and that I wouldn't be able to do the damage that I was doing. But it was totally worth it because there was no reason to make unnecessary risks at this point. I can go to my Tangrowth, and I know that by going to Tangrowth, whatever happens to Tangrowth, honestly, even if he were to go Trick Room, it wouldn't be that bad. Whatever happens to Tangrowth, I can just switch again into one of my other, I have a Dark type Pokemon I can switch into, and I have a Ghost type, Steel type Pokemon I can switch into. So like, this opens up all of my options and limits my opponent's options by going into this. I click the knockoff just to see what he brings into it, and if it's Eviolite, Dusclops, which by the damage that I've been doing to it, it very well seems to be, we're pretty good. He doesn't go to that, he goes to the Bronzong, and so, you know, the knockoff, there's no more Rocky Helmet damage, but it's a defensive Bronzong. It is what it is. The knockoff doesn't do a lot. It's just a safe play. We go for it again because there's no real damage on the Tangrowth, and it's just like, at this stage in the game, the smartest way to play, especially when you're trying to preserve variance, or, you know, the differential, when you're trying to preserve the differential, is to, you know, put your opponent on task and say, make me lose a Pokemon, make me do something risky, because I don't have to, you have to, you're behind. We go for the safe play, we get the knockoff, and now we go up even one more. To be fair, that crit probably mattered more than the first crit in the game, because it didn't look by my eye test guide like that first knockoff did enough damage to kill. It was just a safe play. He goes back into his Silvally, which I don't really know what this could do to my Tangrowth, but looking at the you know, approximate health that I'm at, it's pretty much probably time to switch just to keep it pretty full. Probably a physical set because it'd be, you know, much commonly physical over special. So I'll just go and intimidate it, see what they decide to do with their Silvally. Which I get a little lucky there because they go for Psychic Fangs. It must have been their best coverage move against Tangrowth. However, it allows Crocodile to come in for free. So he can just click Earthquake, and basically nothing on my opponent's team wanted to take that Earthquake. Dusclops could have lived it, but then would have just fainted to the next one. So that puts an important hole in my opponent's team. That allows me to pretty much run away with it, because at that point he has one defensive Pokemon left and there's not a whole lot that he can do to me. I just want to take this down in a way where even if he tries to do certain things, he doesn't have options. So I bring in the burn Pokemon in case he wants to burn my one good physical attacker. Because he went for the burn, I'm not going to go back into a physical attacker. There's no need to risk that. I could go for the knockoff, but instead I'm just going to go right back into my Aegislash. Yes, it takes a little more than ideal from the Hex because it's super effective, but it's in shield form. It's not going to take a whole lot. And then I can attack with a ghost attack on my own and not worry about getting neutered. There's not a real option for my opponent to stop what I'm doing, even though what I'm doing, you know, may not be the quickest route to victory. It's the safest route. Once again, once I got a lead, there was basically no reason at any point for me to give my opponent any ground. So I just finished it up with those three last Pokemon, Crocodile, Tangrowth, and Aegislash happened to each pick up 2 kills. That's all 6 kills of my opponent's team, and that's it for this week.